Which is what if Naruto was personally trained by Shizune, Yugao, and Anko and a bond blossomed. Part 2. And if you enjoy this fanfic, then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. It's been 3 days since Naruto met his grandmother. He was extremely happy. Once Tsunade found out he was living in an apartment at the Red District, she almost raised hell. She just needed that little push, and that push came in the form of a civilian who noticed Tsunade walking next to Naruto. He tried to pull Naruto away from her, claiming the demon was trying to taint their princess, and to make matters worse, more civilians joined in. It was safe to say, the hospital was almost full that afternoon. Naruto was happy. He had family. He had a new place to live, but the biggest surprise, he also had a new friend in Shizune Kato. If he could describe her in a way, he would say she is the opposite of Anko, which isn't good or bad. Shizune was calm, patient, and level-headed. She was also a rational thinker. Naruto decided to learn about poison from her. He may not be able to do medical ninjutsu, but he could probably make poison and antidotes. Naruto had to be honest. He enjoyed Shizune company. She was the first female he met that wasn't brash, violent, or weird. Shizune took to the blonde well. She enjoyed his company well. He was easy to get along with and fun to talk to. He reminded her of her uncle whenever he talked about being Hokage, and she respected how he valued bonds and cherished them as well. Tsunade had informed Shizune about Naruto being in the CRA and suggested she join. Shizune had blushed up a storm, claiming she didn't know the boy. Tsunade gave a smirk that Shizune recognized. It means Tsunade was planning something. Tsunade ordered Naruto to go get some flower seeds, and she forced Shizune to join. Shizune was blushing because she knew what her sensei was planning, but she did want to get to know Naruto more, so she went along with the plan. Do you know what kind of flower Ba-chan wants? Shizune nodded. She wants anything red, yellow, and purple. Red for Uzumaki, purple for Senju, and yellow is a secret. Shizune teased. Sign, it's my dad, isn't it? Why won't anyone tell me who he is? Well, at first it was because we thought you couldn't keep a secret. But now that's not the case. What do you mean? Naruto asked. Shizune started to giggle. Well, you are training right now, and everyone assumes if you find out who your father was, you would be begging to learn his jutsu. Shizune answered. How strong are they? AS rank. Naruto pouted. Shizune giggled and rubbed his back. It's alright just to be patient, for me. Shizune asked. Naruto looked at Shizune and signed. Fine, I guess I can't ignore a request from a beautiful lady. Naruto said with a smirk when he saw Shizune blush. Nice one, Kit. You are finally stepping out of your cage. Kuruma complimented. Shizune calmed down and gave Naruto a sad look. You don't have to lie, I'm aware of my boyish look. Even with theses. Shizune pushed up her. Most guys don't pay attention to me. That's their loss. Shizune turned to Naruto and continued. You might not have big like other girls doesn't mean you aren't beautiful. I think you have a natural beauty. When I'm with you, I feel calm and relaxed with you. So don't worry, if no one wants you, I'll go out with you. Naruto said with a grin. Shizune blushed and gave Naruto a warm smile. She bent down and kissed his cheek. Well, how about we go out later? She said with a wink. Naruto blushed and nodded as they headed towards the flower shop. Yamanaka flower shop. Ino was annoyed. After her conversation with Sakura, she decided to look for her fellow blonde but couldn't find any trace of him. She wanted to get to Naruto, her future husband, a little better. After Sakura informed her about Naruto's action, she still found it very romantic and heroic. As she was in her train of thoughts, Naruto walked in with Shizune. Hey Ino, how are you? Ino snapped out of her thoughts and gave a warm smile to the boy who infected her thoughts and blushed at his new outfit. Naruto-kun, there you are. I've been looking for you. Naruto was confused when he heard this and was even more confused when he heard the suffix, although it kinda made him blush coming from Ino. Regardless of how she treated him, he couldn't deny she was cute. Not to sound rude, but why were you looking for me? We're not exactly close. Ino frowned at the comment, causing Naruto to feel guilty. I'm sorry, I didn't mean. It's okay. Ino cut him off. I've been nothing but mean to you. I was looking for you because I wanted to apologize to you and get to know you better, especially after what Sakura told me about what transpired during your mission. After I heard about that, I wanted to get to know you, but I understand if you don't want to. Sure. In fact, why don't you come with us? I was showing Shizune-chan around the village and I'm sure she would love to talk to another female. We will come back for the seeds later. Naruto offers, turning to his female companion, who gives him a nod of approval. Sure. Let me close down and we can go. Ino said with a cheer and turned the signs on the door, then latched herself on Naruto's arm, surprising him. What are you doing? Naruto asked. Well, this is a date with two beautiful girls, so this is normal. Right. Shizune-san was it. Ino answered. Shizune giggled and held Naruto's hand. Right, so where are we going? Naruto chuckled and decided to take them to Akamichi Barbecue. When they got there, they sat at a table with a grill. So what are we eating? I'm ordering shrimp, beef, and pork. I'm not eating any meat, I'm on a diet and got to keep my figure. Ino answered, causing Shizune to give her a look of misbelief. What do you mean diet? Aren't you a kunoichi? Shizune asked. Well yeah, but I gotta watch my figure. Like you. Shizune pinched her temples. Ino-san, I never dieted in my life. It's unhealthy and it can lead to a kunoichi death. Shizune said, surprising Ino. But if you never diet, how do you have that beautiful body? Ino asked. Told you, you were beautiful. Naruto commented. Shizune blushed and coughed in her hand to regain herself. Thank you for the compliment, and to answer your question, I train. Training helps build up stamina and strength. If you keep dieting, you'll harm your body. Ino was surprised, she didn't realize she was harming her body. Thank you for your advice. By the way, Shizune, who are you? I'm a medic nin and the apprentice of Tsunade Senju. Shizune answered. Ino's eyes went wide when she heard the slug princess name. You're the apprentice of Tsunade-sama. Ino practically shouted. Ino, Naruto. The two blondes turned to the voice and saw Sakura and Hinata looking at them. Hey forehead, Hinata-san. We were about to come see if you wanted to hang out with us. Hey Naruto, what are you doing here and who's this? Sakura said, while looking away from Naruto with blush. Naruto and Shizune-san came by the shop earlier to get some seeds and invited me along to show Shizune-san around the village. Get this, she's the apprentice of the Tsunade Senju. Sakura turned her head towards Shizune so fast, it almost snapped her neck. Really? She's every kunoichi idol. I'm surprised she's in the village. She said, sitting at the table, next to Ino, while Hinata sat next to Shizune. She was even more surprised to find her grandson still alive. When she heard the news, she rushed back to the village like an angry tiger. Shizune said, I wasn't aware that Tsunade-sama had a grandson. Hinata finally spoke. Yeah, I was surprised as well. Naruto said, confusing the younger girls. Why would you be surprised by that Naruto-kun? Do you know him? Sakura asked her new crush. Because Naruto-kun is her grandson. Shizune answered. Ino's jaw dropped. Hinata fainted and Sakura walked up to Naruto and shook him fast. Why didn't you tell me? We're teammates. Sakura asked. Because I didn't know. Now can you let me go, Sakura-chan? Sakura stopped and blushed in embarrassment. Believe it, if I knew I would tell you. Hey, how would you three like to meet her? Naruto offered. Faster than light, Sakura and Ino were right in his face with stars in their eyes. Really? You're the best, Naruto-kun. Both girls squealed at the same time and both kissed him on the cheek, causing Hinata to glare a bit and Shizune's smile to twitch a bit. Naruto turned to Hinata, who started to blush. Are you coming too, Hinata-chan? Naruto asked with a warm smile, causing the Hyuga to pass out. Take that as a yes. Ino interjected. Naruto nodded and then finished eating. To Shizune's dismay, she had to convince Sakura to stop dieting as well, and after the speech, Sakura, along with Ino, started eating more meat. After Naruto paid for all 5 of them, they proceeded to head towards the Senju compound. On the way, Naruto instincts kicked in, but it wasn't dangerous and he was soon tackled by a purple blur known as Anko. Before he could question who it was, he felt someone's tongue enter his mouth and he recognized the taste of dangos, so he started to reciprocate it. The rest of the group was blushing up a storm when this mystery woman appeared out of nowhere and kissed their Naruto-kun. Anko pulled back slowly and smiled. Hey Foxy-kun, how's my favorite blonde? Anko asked, getting off her boyfriend, fiancé. Ino and Sakura were glaring in jealousy, but not because of the kiss, okay maybe a little, but because of how Anko Ozed's sexy from her body. They looked at their bodies and back at Anko, then started to cry anime tears. Hinta stepped towards Anko to speak. Excuse me, but who are you? Anko turned to the girl and smiled. I'm the badass, sexy and taken, Anko Midarashi. You're on the Nai-chan team, right? Hinata nodded. You're also the one who has been following. Hinata let out a eep and covered Anko's mouth, confusing the others. Anko smirked. Perfect, I've been looking forward to a one-on-one time with you. Come with me, we have some things to discuss. Huh, was all Hinata said before Anko put her on her shoulder and turned to the group. Don't worry about us, you can go ahead. We'll meet up later. The snake mistress said before giving Naruto a deep passionate kiss and leaping away with Hinata on her shoulder. Well, that happened, Naruto said. The others nodded after his words and left. Anko headed towards the forest of death and landed in front of the gates and dropped Hinata on her ass. Okay girlie, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I know you like Foxy-kun, but I'm not going to allow you to date him. Anko said to the girl. Hinata's eyes widened and she began to tear up. Why? I love Naruto-kun. Hinata said. Anko smirked and started her plan. Oh, believe me I know, but here is something you didn't know. Foxy-kun is in the CRA and as the matriarch female, I'm allowed to decide who's in and who's not. And I don't think you're good enough. Anko said, causing the girl to cry. But I can help you change that. Hinata stopped crying instinctively and was now focused. What do you mean? Anko jumped on the fence and crossed her legs. You're too soft and weak. You stutter too much and have no confidence. I've seen you train and you have hidden potential, which I can bring out. Foxy-kun is going to have a lot of enemies in the future and I don't want no one holding him down, understand? Hinata nodded her head. Foxy-kun is the type to risk his life for people he cares about and if you date him you become a part of our family. Which means you'll have to protect him as well. So to keep it short, if you don't impress me after our training, you will not be with him. Now do you accept me as a second sensei or give up on Foxy-kun? Hinata was quiet for a while before closing her eyes. When she opened her eyes, it showed determination which impressed the snake mistress. I'll do whatever it takes. Hinata said without stuttering. Great. We'll start tomorrow and then, Anko's hell training will begin. Senju compound. Naruto and Shizune arrived back at the compound with Ino and Sakura in tow. Ba-chan. Naruto called out, as he stepped in the house. They went to the dining room and found Tsunade drinking some sake. Welcome back, Naru-chan, Shizune. Who's these two girls behind you? Tsunade asked. Naruto walked up to her and gave her a hug, one of the many they owed each other. This is Sakura-chan and Ino-chan, they wanted to meet you. Naruto answered. Tsunade stood up and approached the girls. It's nice to meet you Sakura and Ino. Sakura, from what Naruto told me, you have perfect chakra control and I was wondering how would you feel if you became a med-C. If you're on my grandson's team, I want you to be able to support him and not just rely on him. So how about I train you? Sakura's mouth dropped. She had just been offered the chance to train with the Tsunade Senju. It'll be an honor to train under you. Sakura said with a bow. Ino got in front of Tsunade in a begging position. Can you train me too? Ino begged desperately but before Tsunade could answer, Shizune intervened. Actually Ino-san, may you allow me to train you? You see I'm a medic nin but I'm a poison fighter. Owning a flower shop gives you a lot of possibilities. Also I always wanted to train a student on my own, so what do you say? Would you mind having me? Shizune said. Ino was shocked. Sure it was the slug Sanin but it was her apprentice and she could use her flowers as a weapon. Also it would be a good step for her life to get back on track. Ino then approached the raven-haired and bowed. I accept your offer, Shizune-sensei. Naruto was happy for the girls, they now have a chance to go from fangirls to kunoichi. Naru-chan. Naruto turned to Tsunade with a questionable gaze. Neko appeared earlier and she wanted to talk to Uchiha in the backyard. She said, you'll know why. Naruto nodded and went to the back of the house and found her. Hello Naruto-kun, how are you? I'm fine, is everything okay? Naruto asked. Yugao nodded. Everything is fine, but your training will conclude in 2 months. You learned all my techniques, some ninjutsu and taijutsu, you still need to learn more seals from your mother scrolls but overall skill-wise you are a jonin. But you're a low chunin in experience. It's time we refine your skill, so with the permission of Hokage-sama, you will become Anbu for 2 months going on B-rank missions with me or higher if I feel you're ready. This will help you gain experience. And when we're not on missions, you'll train in the Anbu gauntlet with me doing simulation training. Do you accept it? Of course Neko-sensei, thank you for everything. I wish I could give you something to show my appreciation. Oh. Naruto pulled out a scroll and tossed it towards the Anbu. I wanted to give you this but I guess I got sidetracked. Neko chuckled but unsealed the scroll revealing Umi Bunkatsu. Yugao gasped at the sword and turned to Naruto. As this Umi Bunkatsu? But how? Well on my last mission, I was able to beat a missing nin who was wielding this blade. Since I have my Ka-chan blade, I thought you should have this one. Naruto said. Yugao was surprised, she had a legendary blade of water and Naruto was the reason she had this powerful weapon in her hand. Yugao approached Naruto and removed her mask, confusing the blonde, then he suddenly blushed when she kissed him on the cheek. Thank you Naruto-kun, I guess now we could help each other. You know in some countries giving a swordsman a sword is valuable as this is considered a proposal. Yugao said, causing the blonde to blush. As she looked back at the blade, she thought of her previous conversation with Hayate her ex-boyfriend. Flashback. What? Yugao asked, facing her boyfriend with disbelief on her face. She was facing her boyfriend in her apartment. I'm breaking up with you, but it's not you, it's me. You see, I'm slowly dying. I didn't want to tell you until Tsunade-sama confirmed it. She said I have an incurable heart disease and it could happen any day now. Hayate explained, sitting on their couch. But why break up with me? Shouldn't we spend your last days together? Yugao pleaded. Hayate shook his head. Because you need to unattach yourself to me, it'll be harder for you to let go. I don't want you to dwell on my death. I want you to find someone to love you as much as I do. Maybe that Naruto guy. Naruto. Yugao repeated, confusingly. Hayate smiled and nodded. You haven't noticed. You always talked about how much fun it is to train him, that he has high potential and so much fun to be around. And don't let me add how he was treating Anko like a princess and would make the perfect husband for anyone. Yugao blushed in embarrassment, causing Hayate to chuckle. He got on his feet and approached the blushing Anbu. Listen, I love you and always will, but after today we shouldn't see each other anymore. It's the best for you. I'll be dead soon, but you'll live and be happy for the both of us. Just promise me something. Anything. Yugao responded. Hayate adopted a teasing smirk. Name your first kid after me. Hayate said, causing Yugao to blush. Flashback end. Neko-sensei. Yugao looked up and smiled at the blonde. She had to admit, she was becoming a little attracted to the blonde and he always gave off this warm aura. She informed Anko of Hayate's wishes and Anko fully supported the thought after comforting her sister figure. I'm fine, Naruto-kun, how about we get going? Go say goodbye to your friends and family before we leave because you won't see each other for 2 months. Yugao said. Naruto nodded and went inside his home to say his goodbye, although he told them he was going on a training mission and not in Anbu. Tsunade hugged the boys, covering him with kisses. Shizune decided to take a step further and gave him a peck on the lips. Sakura and Ino, not wanting to lose, kissed him on both of his cheeks, causing the boy to blush. But none of that was even comparable to when he found Anko at her apartment to inform her. When Naruto broke the news to her, Anko told him, "We're going to make up for future time," and dragged him into her bedroom. After around 30 minutes, Naruto was covered with lavender lips and on his chest was Anko Heim property, and he had a goofy grin on his face, which caused Yugao to chuckle. After that they left and headed towards Anbu headquarters to begin Naruto's training. Kid, I'll teach you some more elemental jutsu and some of the fox-style techniques. Plus it's about time to get rid of your hatred, so you harness more of my chakra. We will talk more when your true training begins. Kuruma said, receiving a nod from Naruto. Uchiha compound the next day. Kakashi just arrived at the compound and appeared at his raven hair student window and saw Sasuke just waking up. Yo, Kakashi greeted. Kakashi-sensei, what do you want? Sasuke asked in a cold tone. Well, I got some news for you. It turns out Naruto and Sakura are going to be busy the next 2 months. The Hokage didn't let me know what they will be doing, but it's just going to be us. Sasuke smirked at this. No one will get in his way of training. With him and Kakashi alone, he will become stronger. So what now? Sasuke asked. Well, we're still going to complete some D-rank missions and after that, I'll work on strengthening your Sharingan. I'll teach you some Genjutsu, as well as help you perfect your Taijutsu. And if your progress is good, I'll teach you some Fire Ninjutsu. Kakashi said. Sasuke smirked and nodded. Let's get started. 2 months later, the meeting of Junin Sensei has called to see which team will be nominated for the Chunin exams. If you think your team is ready, please present yourself. We'll start with the rookies of the Jonin team. Hiruzen stated. Kakashi stepped forward. I, Kakashi Hatake, nominate Team 7 consist of Uchiha Sasuke, Haruno Sakura and Uzumaki Naruto for the Chunin exams. Kakashi said, stepping back. Kurenai stepped forward. I, Kurenai Yuhi, nominate Team 8 consist of Aburame Shino, Hyuga Hinata, and Inazuka Kiba for the Chunin exams. Kurenai said, stepping back. Asuma stepped forward. I, Asuma Sarutobi, nominate Team 10 consist of Akamichi Choji, Nara Shikamaru, and Yamanaka Ino for the Chunin exams. Asuma Sarutobi said, stepping back. Iruka was about to get up and protest, but the Hokage stopped him and turned to the Jonin. You may leave and hand the applications to your students. Hiruzen ordered, and as the Junin left, Iruka finally spoke. Excuse me, Hokage-sama, but why did you allow the rookies to take part of the exam, especially Naruto? He was the dead last and I don't think he's ready for something of this caliber. Hiruzen chuckled. You don't have to worry about Naruto-kun, after all. Hiruzen went close to Iruka's ear. I think everyone has to worry about Naruto-kun because I can guarantee he'll be one of the strongest genin there. Iruka's eyes widened. What could his leader mean? Somewhere else in the village, Anko was enjoying some dangos after her final day with the Hyuga heiress. She could honestly say she was excited to see her little project in action. She felt guilty she had to keep the secret from Kurenai, but to Anko it was more of a surprise. She was snapped out of her thoughts when she felt a pair of arms wrapped around her torso. She was about to kill whoever this pervert is. She whipped out a kunai and turned around to stab the perpetrator, but he grabbed her wrist. When she faced the person, her face turned from anger to happiness. Hey Anko, hi my hum. Naruto was cut off with Anko jumping him and smashing her lips against his glowing mind. He closed his eyes and returned the kiss, bringing Anko closer, causing her to moan. After a minute passed, Anko separated from Naruto and looked around to see everyone staring at them blushing. What the fuck are you fuckers staring at? Anko yelled, causing everyone to scatter. Naruto chuckled and hugged the snake mistress. I missed you Anko-chan. Anko gave Naruto a warm smile. Same here Naru-kun. Anko stepped back and got a good look at Naruto. He was wearing a white open jacket with a fishnet shirt underneath, blue Anbu pants with his sword at his side. And thinking about the shirt, she could see Naruto's abs causing her to drool a bit. But what excited her the most was the aura coming from him. Wow Foxy-kun, your presence is making me want to jump you. Naruto smiled. Well, looking at you is just as hard considering how gorgeous you are. Naruto commented, causing Anko to blush. Well, as much fun as this is, I have to go get ready for the Chunin exam. Maybe if you're promoted, we can celebrate. Anko said, giving Naruto a wink before shushing away. Naruto chuckled at his girlfriend's antics and proceeded to Team 7 training ground to meet up with his team. Kit, there's 3 stooges following you. Hiruma told the blonde sensing 3 low chakra readings. Naruto smiled knowing who one of them was. Konohamaru, I know you there. He said, turning to a square box that was following him. Sensing my presence this early. As expected of my rival. Konohamaru said, leaping out of the box with 2 others. You two, introduce yourselves. I'm Udon and I like math. The boy with the glasses known as Udon said. And I'm Moegi, the most beautiful kunoichi in Konoha. The orange-haired girl said. Naruto chuckled and petted the girl's head, making her blush. Well, you sure are cute. Naruto said, making the girl blush. So what do you 3 want? Well boss, I was wondering if we could play ninja. Konohamaru asked. I think you should. Think of it as pre-training for them. Kuruma said. Naruto-kun. Naruto was cut off and turned to see Sakura with her hair cut, wearing a red vest with a red skirt. He could tell she was stronger than before, feeling the power radiating from her. Sakura glomped on the boy and gave him a hug. It's good to see you. Naruto returned the hug. It's good to see you too, Sakura-chan, like the haircut. You look great, Dadbeo. Sakura blushed at the comment. Hey boss, is she yours, Yano? Konohamaru asked, lining his fingers in a circle. Naruto was about to answer but Sakura cut him off again. I will be but not yet. Sakura answered, winking at Naruto. Naruto blushed a bit. As expected of my rival, she's beautiful but her chest could be bigger. Suddenly the room got a lot colder. Naruto slowly turned his head towards his teammate and saw the Oni. Konohamaru. You should run. Naruto warned. Konohamaru looked at Naruto then towards Sakura and saw evil. He then took off in the opposite direction, while Sakura chased after him. Get back here, twerp. Sakura yelled. Naruto chased after her along with the other K-core. Naruto saw them round the corner and made his way towards them. He had to admit, Sakura anger was a great power source. Ouch. The fuck. Naruto arrives behind Sakura to find his protege being yanked up by the collar by a catboy thingy. But what caught his eye was the kunoichi standing next to him. Nice legs. Kuruma commented. Naruto nodded in agreement. The girl looked at Naruto and blushed a bit with a smirk on her face. Looks like the blonde hottie is checking me out, gotta say, love the eyes. The girl thought. Excuse me ma'am, but may you please let go of my friend? Naruto asked politely, causing the boy in the catsuit to seethe while the girl chuckled. I'm a boy and why should I? He ran into me. Maybe I should teach him a lesson to watch where he is going. The boy cocked his fist back and was about to punch, but all of a sudden he felt metal on his throat. He looked down and saw a tip of a blade pointing at him. When he looked into the blonde eyes, he saw that they were slit. I'm sorry but I should have been more clear. Put him down or die. Naruto said, releasing some ki. The boy dropped Konohamaru, who ran behind Naruto. The boy reached for his bandages but as soon as he touched them he felt a blade touching the back of his neck. He turned around and saw the same blonde who was just standing in front of him. Naruto-kun is amazing. Sakura thought. Strong and handsome. I think I just found a potential boyfriend. The girl thought. Boss is so cool. The 3 kids thought with Moegi having hearts in her eyes. That's strike 2. If you attempt to harm anyone from my village, not only will you be kicked out of the exams but you will die here and now. Plus the guy in the tree next to my teammate is getting pissed. You can come out now Sasuke and so can you, Red. Naruto said, returning to Sakura's side. Sasuke jumped down from the tree but surprised him that there was somebody behind and he didn't sense him but Naruto did. Sasuke glared at the blonde. How strong are you? I couldn't sense this guy but the Dobi could. The girl looked at Sasuke and back at Naruto. He's cute but the blonde is way better. The red glared at the catsuit man in anger. Kenkaro, you're a disgrace to our village. But Gaara. Shut up, or I'll kill you. Gaara said, jumping down landing next to his team. He turned to Naruto and bowed. I'm sorry for the trouble my teammate has caused. Gaara turned to walk away with his team. Wait, who are you? Sasuke asked, glaring at the redhead. Who, me? The girl asked. No, the guy with the gourd. Sasuke responded. Naruto walked behind Sasuke and smacked him on the head, then turned to his fellow blonde. I'm sorry, he plays for the other team. He doesn't appreciate beauty as such as yourself. Naruto said, making the girl blush. My name is Sabaku no Gaara. I'm interested in learning your name. The redhead said. Sasuke smirked. Of course you heard of the. I wasn't speaking to you. Gaara cut the Uchiha off and turned to the male blonde. Naruto quirked an eyebrow and gave Gaara a challenging smirk. Naruto Uzumaki, future Hokage. Naruto then turned to the blonde girl and gave the girl a warm smile. I know the Tem didn't care, but would you mind telling me your name? The girl returned the smile and gave the blonde a wink. Sabaku no Tamari. Tamari said. Naruto approached the girl and grabbed her hand, then kissed her knuckles, making the girl blush. Haha. Smooth moves kit. By the way, this boy has my crazy brother Shikaku sealed inside him. Looking at the boy, you can tell he never slept in a day of his life. Maybe you should help him. Use my chakra and challenge him. Kuruma said. Naruto nodded. Hey Gaara, was it? I got a message for Shikaku from number 9. Naruto said, causing the sand nin's eyes to widen. Shikaku, stop torturing the boy and let him sleep, or else you'll be dealing with me, and trust me, unless you want to become a tailless beast, stop tormenting him. Naruto said, making the voice in Gaara's head panic a bit. Gaara looked at the blonde with a confusing gaze. Mother says I can sleep tonight. Tamari and Konkaro's eyes widened. Tamari turned to her fellow blonde and wrapped in a hug, then kissed him on the cheek. Thanks for helping my brother, maybe we could meet up later. Tamari said before turning around and leaving with her brothers. Naruto turned to his teammates and the kids. Let's go guys, we are supposed to meet up with Kakashi sensei and Konohamaru, I'll hang out with you later. We have to go, Naruto said. Got it boss, see ya. Nice to meet you Sakura-san, but not you Tem. Konohamaru said before disappearing. Sasuke grunted and Sakura giggled. The team then went to their training ground. As they waited, Sakura and Naruto decided to catch up. So Sakura-chan, how was your training? Naruto said, sitting down by a tree trunk, while Sakura sat in his lap. Sakura-chan, what are you doing? Anko-san gave me permission to pursue you, and she also said to be a little aggressive. Speaking of which, how would you feel about going on a date with me? I know you said you gave up on me, but I've changed, so. Sakura answered. Naruto chuckled and wrapped his arms around Sakura's waist. Well, who am I to ignore a girl's need? Sure, I don't mind giving you another chance. So about your training? Naruto asked. That's a secret that you have to wait and see. Sakura answered, sticking her tongue out. Well, it wouldn't really matter because you are just a civilian. Sasuke cut in. Naruto was about to speak, but Sakura spoke first. Well, I don't remember asking you Uchiha, not that your opinion matters. Now why don't you just go over there by yourself and broad in the daylight like all emos? Sakura retorted. Sasuke's jaw dropped, his fangirl just told him off. Naruto was staring at Sakura in amazement. Sakura turned to the blonde and was about to question him because of the way he was looking at her. She was surprised when Naruto smashed his lips onto hers and wrapped his arms around her waist, pulling her closer. He pulled back and smiled at the pinkett. Sorry, but talking down to the Tem kinda turned me on a bit. Sakura just nodded with a day expression on her face. Yo. The three turned to Kakashi, who appeared out of nowhere. Naruto, Sakura, it's good to see you too. Today there will be no training, but I have something for you three. Kakashi handed them an application. These are for the Chunin exams. Fill them out and head to the academy tomorrow at noon. Good luck, Naruto and Sakura. Do your best and keep up with Sasuke. You two missed out on a lot of training, so don't be surprised if you two don't make the cut. See ya, Kakashi said before disappearing. Naruto and Sakura smirked. They couldn't wait to surprise their sensei with their results. Naruto put a hand on Sakura's shoulder. She turned to face him. How about a mini date? Sakura wrapped her arms around his neck and smiled. Sure, we can go to Ichiraku's ramen, I haven't had any in a while. Naruto nodded and shunted both of them away. Sasuke just gritted his teeth and left. Naru-chan, please be careful, the exams are dangerous. With that said, I expected you to be promoted. Tsunade told her grandson. Naruto smiled and hugged Tsunade. I'll be fine, I promise. Naruto told her before releasing her and approaching Shizune. She was giving Naruto a warm smile, then kissed him on the cheek. For good luck, Shizune said. Naruto blushed and nodded. He headed out the door towards the academy to meet up with his teammates. It was his time, he would be one step closer to his dream. All his hard work will pay off, at least that he was hoping for. Naruto. Naruto looked up and saw Sakura waving at him smiling. Sasuke was in the back with his eyes closed. Naruto approached the team, receiving a hug from Sakura. Are you ready? Of course, it's time to show the world that Team 7 is the greatest team. Naruto said, leading his teammates to the exam. Sasuke seethed, thinking he should be the one to lead. When they walked up the first set of stairs, they noticed Team Guy. Please, we just want to take the exam. Tenten pleaded on the ground. Naruto smiled, he knew she was faking but didn't know why. He then looked at the room door in front of them, it said 302. Sakura-chan, this is the wrong floor. Let's move upstairs, Naruto whispered. Sakura nodded and was about to follow Naruto. Remove the genjutsu, it's pathetic. Sasuke said, walking forward. He was trying to put himself on a pedestal and show that Uchiha couldn't be fooled. Sasuke-tem, I know you like to show off but what you just did, you just made yourself look like a moron, dumbass. This was a test to weed out the weak but you had to give everyone the answer. At this rate you're not Chunin material. Naruto scolded. Sasuke seethed and was about to say something and tell Team Guy. Wow, what's that sword? May I take a look, Naruto-kun? Naruto smiled at the weapon lover. Sure. He handed the girl his sword. Tenten had hearts in her eyes. The sword was a beautiful crimson red, mixed with black. It was well taken care of and sharpened just right. She handed the sword back to Naruto. That's an amazing sword, do you mind if we spar sometime? Sure. Anyway, I have something for you. Naruto said, pulling out a scroll and handing it to Tenten. Tenten looked confused but opened the scroll. Her eyes had stars when she saw multiple shurikens, kunais and different swords. Naruto chuckled at her reaction. And here's the best part, they're made out of chakra metal. Tenten's head snapped at Naruto when she heard that. And you'll just give it to me. Of course, you want to be a weep HMPH. Naruto couldn't finish when Tenten slammed her lips onto Naruto. Sakura's eyes twitched a bit, Sasuke didn't care and Team Guy was shocked at the reaction. She pulled back and gave him a flirty wink. Thanks Naruto, maybe after the exam we could train sometime. Tenten said. Naruto nodded dumbly before replying. Sure, if I get a kiss like that every time I give you a weapon, I might go hunting for more. Naruto said with a blush and scratched his cheek. Tenten punched Naruto's arm. You have to buy me dinner first. Who knows? You might get lucky. Naruto smiled at that. Are you Naruto Uzumaki? Naruto turned to Neji but for some odd reason, he was glaring at him. You're the one Hinata-sama always talks about and the one responsible for her recent change. Because of you, she now thinks she can change her fate as a failure. Naruto's eyes narrowed at the comment. Let's get some things straight. 1. I have no idea what change you're on about. Anko. And 2. Watch what you say about her. Neji snorted. Or what? Or I might do something I regret. Naruto said in a dark tone, putting his hand on the hilt of his sword. Neji activated his Byakugan and Naruto's eyes turned slit. The room was filled with Naruto's killer intent. Neji wasn't showing it but he was a little scared. Sakura was concerned Naruto might do something he regrets. You two calm down, it's unyouthful for comrades to fight. Lee said, walking between them. Neji deactivated his eyes and walked towards the stairs. You better not hope we don't face each other. The Hyuga said walking up the stairs. Tenten shook her head disappointedly. I'm sorry about him, he has a pole stuck up his ass. Tenten commented, causing both Naruto and Sakura to laugh. Lee approached the Pinkett blushing. Excuse me, Sakura-chan. You are the most beautiful girl I ever laid my eyes on. Will you be my girlfriend? I promise to protect you with my life. Rock Lee proposed. Sakura looked at the green spandex boy and signed. Sorry Lee, was it? I already have my eyes on someone else. Sakura said. Lee cried anime tears for a second before turning to Sasuke. Excuse me Sasuke Uchiha, I would like you to spar with me. Naruto, Sakura and Tenten looked at Lee with a shocked look on their faces. Sasuke gave Lee an arrogant smirk. You know who I am and still want to fight me. I do. I want to prove genius can beat natural talent. Lee responded. Sasuke, don't do it. The Uchiha turned to Naruto as the blonde continued. You can't beat him as you are, he's strong. Sasuke snorted and turned to face Lee. I'll end this in a minute. Naruto shook his head and turned to walk away. Sakura decided to follow him. Naruto-kun, why did you say that? Do you believe Sasuke will lose? Naruto nodded. Yes, Sasuke's pink eye won't work on him. How come? He doesn't use chakra but he is a pro at taijutsu. Sasuke will not be able to touch him. When they approached the top of the stairs, Kakashi was there waiting for them. Hey you two, where's Sasuke? Getting his glorified handed to him by Bushy Brow Jr. Naruto answered as Sasuke approached them limping. He looked at Naruto and narrowed his eyes. Not a damn word, Sasuke said. Naruto whistled innocently while Sakura giggled. You should have listened to Naruto-kun, he did try to warn you. Sakura said. Sasuke glared at her, causing her to blink confusingly. When you said, not a word, I thought it only meant for Naruto. Kakashi signed. Well, I'm glad all three of you are here, especially you two Sakura and Naruto. Be safe, and even if you don't make Shunin, there's always next year, but try your best. Naruto and Sakura looked at each other and smirked. Kakashi had no idea about their training and thought it was funny. When they walked through the doors, they were met with glares from multiple glares. Naruto ignored it and walked towards the corner of the room with his team in pursuit. Naruto, test out your Kitsune. It can couple jutsu like the Sharingan and repel genjutsu towards the caster. I also modified it so you can see chakra levels and hum true attention through their chakra. If it's black, they're a threat. If it yellow, they're friendly, and blue, they're neutral. Naruto nodded and activated his new dojutsu. His eyes turned gold and had slits. He looked around the room, analyzing the competition. Across the room, and raven-haired, pink-eye Kunoichi was looking at Naruto. It can't be. He looks like the Yondaime description. Damn, this couldn't be worse timing. Trying to make an alliance with these tree huggers, to find out the yellow devil has a son. I might be wrong, but if I'm not, Ka-chan will be avenged. The Kunoichi thought, holding a hilt of a special katana. On the other side of the room, there was a Kumo team of 3 girls. 1 redhead and 2 blondes. One blonde had a twist in her hair and the other had short hair that goes to her shoulder, but there was something special about these 2 girls. The first one was a Jinchuriki and the second had a sword with a silver hilt. Both the blondes were eyeing Naruto suspiciously. Yugito, Samui, what are you two staring at? Karui asked. The competition, he has one of the 5 shatter star blades like me. Samui answered. Not only that, but there's something about him that feels similar. Yugito added. Karui looked at her teammates confusingly and turned to Naruto. He doesn't seem like much. I bet I'll kick his inner instinct. Karui said. If you fight him, you won't win. He's strong, I can feel it. Do not underestimate him if you fight. Samui said in a stern tone. Naruto was analyzing the competition until he snapped out his thoughts. Looks like the gang's all here. Hiba said with Shino and Hinata walking behind him. The Inuzuka turned to Sasuke and smirked. We're so going to kick your Sasuke. I've gotten a lot stronger since the last time. Sasuke smirked. We'll see, won't we? Hiba nodded and turned to Naruto. I'm surprised you're here, dead last, but I guess it was because Sasuke had to backpack your ass. Hiba taunted. Sakura was about to retort, but Naruto put a hand on her shoulder and shook his head. Never underestimate your opponent, Mutt. You might regret it. Naruto said. Hiba was about to retort when a purple blur jumped on Naruto's back. Hello fellow blonde, I missed you. Ino said, rubbing her cheek against Naruto's. Pig, get off Naruto-kun. Sakura yelled at the blonde, grabbing Naruto's arm and hugging it. Hiba was shocked at the display. Shikamaru and Choji walked towards the group as well. When did the loser become a chick magnet? Hiba asked. Then he received a smack on the head from Hinata. It's not nice to insult our friends, Kiba-san. Hinata said, walking to the group and greeting Naruto. You rookies shouldn't be too loud. A silver-haired guy with glasses walked up to the group. You see, some of them are from Kiri and they have a short temper. Everyone here is tense, Kabuto said, pointing at a group of nin, releasing some ki on the rookies, trying to intimidate them. Naruto stepped forward and smiled. Kuruma. Right, Naruto smiled and released some ki of his own, along with Kuruma's chakra, scaring most of the competition. Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't appreciate people glaring at my friends. Sasuke was seething in jealousy at the display. Hiba was shocked. Shino smiled under his jacket, while Sakura, Ino and Hinata was awe as the former Uchiha fangirls had hearts in their eyes, while the Hyuga heiress was blushing up a storm. Kabuto narrowed his eyes at Naruto, but soon he turned it to a cheerful eye smile. Wow, pretty impressive. Anyway, I'm Kabuto and I'll help you guys out. Here, let me show you something. He said, pulling out some cards and placing them in front of them. Kabuto-san, how many times did you take these exams? Excuse me for being rude, but you seem a little older than us. Sakura asked. Oh, I took the exams 7 times. Kabuto answered. Wow, you must suck. Hiba commented. Naruto narrowed his eyes. That doesn't make any sense. He has as much chakra as Kakashi-sensei and he smells like Anko-chan but more potent with a hint of chemicals. Naruto thought. These exams are just hard. Kabuto responded by holding up a card. These are chakra-infused cards. It contains information about almost anyone in this room. If there's anyone you want to know about, it'll be a good time to ask. Sasuke stepped up. Anyone, huh? Subaku no Gaara, Rock Lee and Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto frowned and smirked. I think it speaks very poorly of you, Tem, to ask about your own teammate. But considering you're a self-righteous prick, I guess it's hard to take your head out your ass. Sasuke gritted his teeth but ignored the comment. Ah, you know their names. Let's see. Rock Lee, he has completed 20 D rank and 11 C rank missions, his teammates are Tenten and Neji. And he's skilled in taijutsu, not much information on any other skills. Gaara, his teammates are his brother and sister 14 C ranks and 1 B rank missions. Since he's a foreigner there's no info on his skills but it's said he completed every mission without a scratch. A B rank mission, without a scratch. That's something for a genin. Shikamaru commented. Now Naruto Uzumaki, now let's see. What? Kabuto said in surprise. 32 C rank, 5 B ranks, 5 A ranks. He also received no scratches on his B rank missions. But the weird thing is, it says here that his skills are mediocre. He should be just a high genin. Kabuto stated. Everyone turned to Naruto with a confused gaze. Naruto just smirked. I guess Jeej forgot to update my skills, I should thank him later. Naruto thought. Sakura and Ino analyzed the blonde and smiled. I see, Naruto-kun is keeping his skills a secret. After all, there's no way a regular genin could fight a missing nin with a sword without any skills. Sakura thought. Forehead told me Naru-kun beat a missing nin, so that means she was either overexaggerated or Naru-kun hiding his skills. Ino thought. Sasuke gritted his teeth and glared at the blonde. When did he do those missions? This guy is useless. The Dobi must be hiding his true power. In the back of the crowd with 3 sound nins, the female of the trio was looking at Naruto. Kabuto-san is a fool. The blonde is practically leaking power. And not just him. The blonde with the ponytail from Kumo and Gaara feels the same. They're the real threat. Minty from Taki has just as much power but she doesn't feel as strong. Naruto huh, maybe he can help me get away from him. Jonin lounge. Wow, I didn't think you would allow your team to do B rank missions, Kakashi. Asuma said, watching the genin from the monitor alongside his fellow Jonin. I didn't. I have no idea how he completed those missions. Kakashi stated. When did his blonde student complete those missions and why did the Hokage allow it? All he had Sasuke do the past few months was D ranks and some light sparring and gave him a few fire jutsus. Do you mind if I join you? Everyone turned to see Yugao walk in the lounge. Yugao-chan, why are you here and not in Anbu headquarters? Kurenai asked. Well, until the exams are over, I'm a Jonin and I'm here to witness my apprentice in action. Yugao answered, standing next to Kurenai. Kakashi gave the Anbu a questionable glance. What? Who's your apprentice? Now why would I spoil it, Kakashi-senpai? I will tell you he's the real threat of the exams. I'm proud to be his teacher. Yugao answered. Kakashi shrugged and turned to the screen. Most likely won't be a match for Sasuke. Most likely it's Tenten. Academy room. What? Listen to me, we shouldn't do this. Kin tried to warn her teammate. Dosu and Zaku wanted to attack Kabuto for calling them basically nobodies. But Kin was against it since a certain blonde was near the Konoha spy. That Naruto kid is aware, he's been shifting his stance and been listening to us. Shut up, you're just paranoid. Let's go, Dosu said as he and Zaku leapt towards Kabuto. Kin turned her attention to the blonde and saw him smirk as he put his hand on the hilt of his sword. Dosu swiped at Kabuto, breaking his classes with gauntlets. Put this in your cards, the sound will make shunin. Now how will that happen if you're going to be dead? Said Kabuto in Naruto's voice. Kabuto poofed and revealed to be Naruto and Naruto poofed out of existence revealing to be a Bushin. Dosu then felt a blade on his shoulder, he slowly turned his head and saw the real Naruto holding a sword to his throat. First the sand, now the sound. You guys trying to start a war or something? I don't sit well when my comrades are attacked. Zaku. Dosu called out to his teammate. Zaku charged at the blonde with a kunai, but was struck in the arm by Hinata Jukin strike. Ino then tripped the sound nin and Sakura put him in a headlock. Dosu turned his head to the genin group and saw Kabuto jaw dropped. How did you know? Let's just say, thanks to a furry friend of mine, I have advanced hearing. Naruto answered by bringing the blade closer. He turned to the 3 girls and nodded towards them. Please let them go, I need them to pass the exam. Regardless of how stupid they are. Kin said, walking up to the group. Naruto removed his sword and nodded towards the girls that held Zaku, prompting them to release him. He turned to Dosu and smirked. You should think of your cute teammate. Beauty and brains come in a package. Naruto said. Kin blushed at the comment and the 3 walked away glaring at the blonde. Alright you maggots, settle down. Ibuki said, bursting through the door. Jonin lounge. Kakashi, Asuma and Kurenai were awed when they watched their students in action. When did Naruto and Sakura improve this much? When did Ino actually start training? Asuma asked. When did Hinata get so aggressive? Kurenai pondered. In the village, a woman drinking sake, one outside the forest of death and on shopping with a pig sneezed. Testing room. Naruto saw down next to a girl from Taki and Tamari, both of them eyeing him. He turned to the sheet of paper and narrowed his eyes. What the heck, are these the questions we are supposed to answer? No genin can answer unless you were tutored by an Anbu. Alright, listen up. My name is Ibuki and I'm the first proctor. This is a written test and I'm going to explain the rules. Rule 1. Each of you will start off with 10 points. Every time you get a question wrong, you lose a point. Rule 2. This is still a team assignment. Which means passing or failing will be determined by the sum of your total 3. If you're caught doing suspicious acts like cheating or whispering, you lose 2 points. You have 1 hour to finish. Begin. Naruto chuckled a bit. Ibuki practically told them the objective. He looked at the test and he was able to answer a few thanks to Yugao, but some of them were hard. He turned to check on his teammates and wasn't surprised to see Sakura able to answer the question. Sasuke was using his pink eye to cheat. Naruto and Sakura's eyes met and the blonde started to mouth the questions and Sakura nodded. Naruto turned back around and closed his eyes, while focusing his hearing on Sakura pen's sound using his wind affinity and Kuruma's sensitive ears and began to write to the rhythm of her pen. After an hour and kicking a few teams out, Ibuki decided to call it. Alright maggots, time's up, Ibiki said. He then turned to Konkuro and smirked. If you're finished playing with your dolls, we can finish. Konkuro flinched a bit and proceeded. Before I give you the 10th question, you have to choose if you are going to take the question. And if you don't, you and your team will fail. Also, if you get this wrong, you'll never become a chunin. After a few people left, Naruto noticed Choji about to raise his hand and spoke up. Whatever, I'm not scared. If I remain a genin forever, I guess the old man will have to change the rank system for genin to the strongest because I'm going to be the best. Everyone turned to Naruto and smiled. He's pretty cool. He's awesome. I hope we can become friends. Even though he's that Tem's son, I gotta admit I'm impressed. Naruto-kun is amazing. Yeah, go Naruto-kun. Blondie is definitely boyfriend material. Gotta admit, he's kinda hot. Yeah, Naruto-kun. He's kinda cool. I have to ask him for help soon, but gotta admit, he's not bad. Was the thought of different kunoichis. Ibiki smirked. The brat eliminated all their fears. I see why Anko likes him. For all those who stayed, you pass. After the words left his mouth, a purple blur jumped through the window. The answers for the girls were, in order, Samui, Fu, Kuritsuchi, Hinata, Sakura, Tamari, Yugito, Ino, Karui and Kin. Silverblade was the closest, so pick a challenge. Anko landed on the desk in front of the genin. Heads up everyone, the sexy and happily taken Anko Mitarashi is here. Anko said, holding a banner with those exact words. But Naruto, Sakura and Hinta noticed a drawing of Naruto and Anko surrounded by hearts. Anko, you're early, Ibiki chassled. Anko rubbed the back of her head and chuckled. She then turned to the genin and frowned. Damn 29 teams. You'll lose your touch. You can actually thank the blonde knucklehead. He encouraged the rest with a nice little speech and fuck it up. Ibiki responded, glaring at the Uzumaki. Anko turned to the blonde and smirked. She sat on Naruto's table and crossed her legs, revealing a little under her skirt. Hey Foxy-kun, causing trouble as always? Anko asked, bending down and placing her finger under his chin. She turned to Hinata who was next to the blonde. Hi Imouto-chan. Oni-chan. Hinata replied. Nah, I thought some of the genin here would love to visit your special playground. Naruto said with a devious smirk. Which was returned by Anko. Oh how sweet, you gave me fresh prey. Anko turned to Ibiki and smiled. Don't worry, by the end of the second stage, the number will be reduced by half. Everyone shivered at Gaara, Hinata, Sasuke, Samui and Naruto. Alright, follow me, Anko said, jumping through the window. Naruto walked in front of the window and turned to Ibiki. Do I follow her or break my own window? Your own window, Anko answered before Ibiki could. Naruto chuckled before leaping through another window. Ibiki watched as the rest of the genin slowly got up and left. As he started to collect the test, he looked at Naruto's and frowned. Dear Scarface. The genin, and I use that term very loosely, here who have information only the Hokage should have. His name is Kabuto and he smells like snakes and chemicals. Plus chakra level is the same as Kakashi, yet he flunked the exam 7 times. Weird huh? Anyway good luck and see ya. A spy huh? Looks like I have a sneaky rat to catch. Better report this to the Hokage. Ibiki thought. Anko was standing in front of the gate of training ground 44, waiting for the genin. She squeaked when she felt a pair of arms wrapped around her. Hey hubby Heim, it seems like we got a few minutes before the others arrive. Really? I got some ideas to pass the time. Anko said, giving him a smirk. Naruto chuckled nervously. Whatever she had planned defiantly involved something sexual. When the rest of the genin arrived, they saw Anko sitting on a tree branch kicking her legs with a familiar-looking jacket on her shoulders happily. Sakura approaches the proctor while looking around. Anko-san. Where is Naruto-kun? Oh, while we were waiting for you guys, I decided to get rid of some pent-up energy. Foxy-kun is in the tent. Naruto, you can come out. I also have your jacket. No wonder I couldn't find it. Naruto walked out and all the girls blushed. He was wearing a fishnet shirt, so everyone could see his abs and muscles. Sakura noticed something about Naruto. Naruto, what's that on your, is that a hickey? Sakura asked, blushing. That's an Anko mark. It means when Naruto-kun's virginity is mine when he's ready. All you other girls wait your turn. Anko said. Everyone blushed but some of the girls seethed in jealousy. Now enough with Naruto's hot bod. Now welcome to the forest of death. Your objective is to guard a scroll that'll have heaven and earth on it. Your objective is to take the scroll you don't have from a team that has the needed scroll and make it to the tower in the middle. But there's a lot of dangerous creatures lurking in this forest. Sounds fun. Naruto commented. Anko smirked and threw a kunai at Naruto. Naruto smirked and caught it between his teeth. Anko disappeared and appeared behind him. Yo, survive. You have to be fast like Foxy-kun here. Anko said, hugging Naruto from behind and slowly sliding her hands up his chest and reaching towards the kunai between teeth. She cut his cheek and licked some of the blood. Some of the genin shivered at the creepiness. Never get tired of the taste. Naruto chuckled but his danger senses went off. He pulled Anko into his arms, causing her to blush and pulled out his sword and pointed at a Kusa genin. Sorry, I was just returning your kunai. The sight of blood excites me. The Kusa nin said. Anko separated herself from Naruto and smirked at the genin. Thank you but be careful, if you do that again, you might die. The nin nodded and walked off. Naruto narrowed his eyes at the nin. Kit, the nin is not a genin, the smell of snakes is stronger on her more than your mate. Plus her chakra level is on par with the pervert. There's only one person we both know who fits that description. Kuruma said. Naruto's eyes widened. Why is he here? Naruto went to collect the scroll but while he was in the tent he made 3 clones who shishin away. Naruto approached his team. Sakura was giggling at Naruto. It seems you and Anko-san put on a show. Sakura teased but when she saw Naruto's face she got worried. What's the matter? We have trouble. Remember the Kusa nin I almost attacked? Sakura nodded. Sasuke didn't show it but he was listening. She is just as strong as a cage and her chakra is evil. Sasuke and Sakura's eyes widened at this. If you run into her or the Sand team, don't fight them. You will die. Kuruma, what are our chances if we use that? Better I admit, but you still lack experience. While you could survive, it'll be hard to fight while protecting your teammates. But if you use that, you will be on par with the pervert in terms of strength. Still, you would only be able to hold that form for 10 minutes. I hate to admit this but you should have learned Sage Mode from your grandfather, the fox said. Naruto nodded. All right now that everyone has signed the waivers. Remember, make it to the tower in 5 days and show the world what you can do. Just one more piece of advice, just don't die. Especially you Naruto-kun, what am I saying? Naruto-kun is stronger than me. He has this, I feel sorry for anyone who would pick on him. Naruto was leading his team through the forest and landed on the ground. Okay, time to plan out a strategy. I'll hold the scroll and seal it in my arm. Also just in case someone tries to henge into us, I'll mark us with a seal. Stick out your arms. Sakura nodded and did as instructed but Sasuke refused. We don't need the seal, I'll be able to see through a henge with my Sharingan. Naruto didn't feel like arguing and placed a seal on himself. Fine, before we continue, we should plan our next move. We shouldn't blindly search for a team to fight Sasuke, especially since we're going to be targeted. Sakura gave Naruto a confusing look. Why do you say that Naruto-kun? Because we have the last Uchiha on our team and some people still think I'm a dead last idiot. A cyclops, a perverted mud and Uchiha sneezed. Bless you, Tem. Anyway, all we have to do. Naruto paused and turned to Sakura and nodded. Sakura saw this and returned it. I have to go take a leak, excuse me. Naruto walked behind a tree while Sakura and Sasuke just sat near a tree. 10 minutes later Naruto walked from behind. Man, sorry I took so long guys. Tisk, can we get a move on? Sasuke said impatiently. Sakura narrowed her eyes while channeling chakra into the seal. She slowly approached Naruto which confused him. Naruto-kun, where's your sword? Sakura asked, pretending to look worried. It seems I left it behind the tree, Sakura. Naruto said. Sakura narrowed her eyes and sent a kick between his legs, causing Naruto to scream and Sasuke to wince. Thanks for confirming you're an imposter. Naruto-kun calls me Sakura-chan, and Naruto wouldn't ever forget his sword. Sakura said, causing Naruto to dehenge to aim nin who passed out from the kick. Two more aim drop from above with Naruto following behind. Great job, Sakura-chan, you know me well. Naruto said, giving the pinkett a foxy grin. Sakura blushed. And guess what? We have the scroll we need. We can head to the tower. What, but I need a challenge. I didn't get to do anything. Sasuke complained. He wanted to test his training but he was outdone by his two loser teammates. Too bad, Tem. But this exam is not just meant for fighting. We have to show the world that we are Chunin. Get down. Naruto yelled before getting blown away by a gust of wind. Naruto-kun. Sakura called, seeing the blonde be blown deeper into the forest. Kukuku, I finally found you. Now shall we play a little? Said a Kusa nin who appeared on a tree branch. Sakura eyed the Kusa nin. This is the nin Naruto-kun said to avoid. She feels evil and killer intent is in humans. Sakura thought, shaking in fear. Sasuke was shaking more than Sakura. I didn't think the Dobi was serious. We don't stand a chance. I feel like I'm suffocating just being near her. Damn, where did that wind come from? Naruto thought, rubbing his head. When Naruto stood up and looked ahead, there was a tree-sized snake looking down at him. Great, a snake, what a minute, there's only two people I know that used snakes. Damn it, he's here. Naruto said, putting his hand on the hilt of his sword. The snake lunged forward towards the blonde but Naruto disappeared then reappeared behind the snake. The snake paused for a moment before splitting in half, killing it in the process. Now to find Sakura-chan. Well, if it isn't my lucky day. I get to kill the backstabbing bastard spawn. Naruto looked up and saw Kuretsuchi standing there with a familiar-looking blade. Sorry cutie but your time is up. Don't you want to know what kind of scroll I have? Naruto asked. Kuretsuchi snorted. Like I care, I'm just here to end your life. But why? Is it because Iwa and Konoha hated relationship? Naruto said standing up and putting a hand on the hilt of his sword. Kuretsuchi jumped down sword in hand across Naruto. Not at all, in fact. Ji-san was going to try and form an alliance with your Hokage, this is personnel. Naruto looked confused more than ever. Personnel? I've never seen you in my life. True but your father, the Yondaime, killed my mother. Naruto's eyes widened. Kuretsuchi charged forward and did a downward slash towards the blonde. Naruto unsheathed his sword and blocked it. But it was a war, people were just doing their duty. Naruto said, pushing Kuretsuchi back and leaping in the air. He sheathed his sword and went through a few hand signs. Sweden. Suihachi. Naruto put his palm forward and shot a stream of water towards the Iwa nin. Kuretsuchi quickly sheathed and went through her own hand signs. Doden Doryuden. A dragon head formed on the ground and shot mud bullets towards Naruto, overpowering his jutsu. Naruto unsheathed his sword and channeled wind chakra in his blade. Shitsuyona K's no ha, Naruto called, before slicing through the bullets and heading towards Kuretsuchi. Kuretsuchi brought out her sword to block Naruto's. Your father didn't kill her in the war. My grandfather and the Sandaime set up an agreement to unite the two villages and the Yondaime along with two other nins met my mother's squad to retrieve the scroll. But after that mission, my mother never returned. We found her teammate's body between the meeting place and Iwa but my mother's body was gone. On their bodies, we did find a certain headband. Naruto's eyes widened then narrowed. So no one's seen the deed, you are just trying to kill me off a pointless grudge. Kuretsuchi seethed. Like you understand, maybe if Iwa took something from you. Naruto's eyes hardened. Actually, they did, Naruto said, swinging his sword pushing the kunoichi back. Iwa, alongside Kumo and Aim, destroyed my clan out of fear. 3 villages killed my ancestor because they were scared of what could become a threat. But do you see me hunting you or your team down? No, but you have the gall to blame me for the actions of another. Kuretsuchi flinched a bit. She could have retorted and said she wasn't born yet but technically, Naruto wasn't either. That was war, this was betrayal. Kuretsuchi shouted back. We could have been allies but you demon filth of a father betrayed us. Kuretsuchi continued as she went through a few hand signs. And now you die. Yoden. Sekaidio no Jutsu. Sasuke jumped out of the way as a snake charged at him. He turned to Sakura and saw her retreat behind a tree. Kukuku. What's the matter Sasuke? I thought you would be better than this, I have to say I'm disappointed. Sasuke landed on a branch above the Sannin. What of it, why are you even after me? I wanted to see the power of the Uchiha clan in action. But I guess I overestimated you. Seems you will never be a match for Itachi. Orochimaru said. Sasuke fear left and was replaced with unrivaled rage. Just one more push. Maybe I should offer your friend Naruto the power I have to kill Itachi. Sasuke activated his Sharingan and charged the snake Sannin. No Sasuke, It's a trap. Naruto was running through the trees, dodging the Yoden attacks. He grabbed a branch above him and spun. Using the momental, he zoomed towards the Iwa Kunoichi. Kuretsuchi brought her arms up to block the incoming punch Naruto threw at her. She grabbed Naruto's wrist and pulled him towards her. She then went for a knee attack, but Naruto used his other hand and grabbed her knee and used it as a floor, leaping away from his opponent. Naruto made 2 clones and hinged them into a windmill shuriken. He threw them towards the Iwa Kunoichi. You have to do better than that. Kuretsuchi taunted, preparing to dodge. Fine. Shuriken Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. The windmill shurikens multiplied to 50. Kuretsuchi had to admit she was impressed. She dodged the first one, but to her surprise, when one of the shurikens hit the ground, it exploded. He mixed hinged with exploding clones and multiplied them. Kuretsuchi thought in amazement. If she was honest, he would be the perfect guy for her. He was strong, tactful, hot as hell and brave. But too bad he was the son of the Yondaime. She shuriken was raining down on them, causing a huge amount of explosion, but unknown to Kuretsuchi, Naruto was holding back. Naruto landed across the field from the Iwa Kunoichi. Kuretsuchi covered her fist with rocks and charged the blonde. Naruto surrounded his fist with a swirl of concentrated wind and charged the Kunoichi, meeting her halfway. Both their fists collided, creating a small explosion, sending them both flying back. Naruto got up first and saw Kuretsuchi struggling to get up. It doesn't make sense. From what I learn about Yondaime, he wasn't the type to betray. Plus, who would willingly leave behind their headband? Danzo. Both turned to Orochimaru when he spoke. I remember that day. My sensei and Onoki decided to form an alliance and settled on an agreement. And a very interesting one too. But Danzo couldn't allow it. If the agreement was settled, Danzo would have had a harder time becoming Hokage, so he sent his root agents to deal with the Iwa Nin. Who are you? And why do you smell like a snake? You were the one who sent that snake at me, weren't you? Naruto asked. Very perceptive of you, Naruto-kun. As for my name, I'm Orochimaru. Naruto's eyes widened and his teeth gritted. You were the one who caused Anko-chan all her pain. Naruto said, his eyes turning slip gold. Orochimaru smirked. Oh, how he would like to test the Jinchuriki, but he had other plans. Hold up. I want you to continue talking about my mother. Kuretsuchi demanded. Orochimaru eyed the girl, analyzing her and smirked. Ah, the Tsuchikage granddaughter. Interesting. Orochimaru pulled out a scroll and tossed it towards the Iwa Kunoichi. Kuretsuchi caught it and opened it. She started to tear up and blush a bit. She then glared at the snake Sanin. Why are you giving this to me? Because, my dear, I want you to have at least a little comfort when I kill you. Orochimaru said, releasing some ki. Kuretsuchi froze up in fear. The Sanin felt as strong as her grandfather. Just imagine, the son of the Yondaime, killing the granddaughter of the Tsuchikage. You foolish grandfather will certainly help me kill the old man. But rejoice, at least you'll be useful to my cause and I'll give you another gift. Orochimaru said before reaching for his face and ripping it off. Kuretsuchi's eyes widened. Ka-chan. Orochimaru was wearing the face of an older Kuretsuchi with longer hair. No dear, it's me, Orochimaru. This one was quite the fighter. She begged me to spare your village and in return she would give me her body. It's too bad. I was hoping she would have one of your village's Kekkei Genkei, but it was all for naught, Kukuku. But I must say her physical strength is remarkable. Kuretsuchi fell to her knees and started to cry. Naruto looked at the girl in sympathy and gritted his teeth. You scumbag, how dare you toy with other people's feelings? People are not your plaything. Naruto's eyes turned gold for a brief moment. Wait. Naruto halted for a moment when a blur launched towards the snake Sanin. Orochimaru was surprised when he felt a skull-breaking punch on his cheek and he was sent flying feet away from the group. Tsunade landed in front of the 2 genin, cracking her knuckles. Thanks for sending a clone, Naru-chan. Now it is time to deal with my old teammate for messing with my grandson. Is she going to be okay? Kuretsuchi asked Naruto as they left the battlefield of the 2 legendary Sanin. Yeah, Ba-chan is strong. She will not die so easily. Ever since I met her, she has been training non-stop. Naruto answered with confidence. What do you mean? Since you met her? Didn't you grow up with her? Kuretsuchi asked, jumping on trees next to Naruto. No, apparently the council told her I was dead so they could tell me into a weapon. She left the village a long time ago after her fiancé and brother died in a war. She was on her way back to the village when I was born, but she was lied to. Naruto said. I see, it's because you're a Jinchuriki. Kuretsuchi said. Naruto's eyes widened and looked at her. She gave Naruto a confusing look and giggled. I see, no one's supposed to know. Don't worry, the only reason I know is because my teammate is one and he was treated differently. I know the difference. Kuretsuchi reassured. Thank you. You know, without the whole trying to kill me thing, you are pretty awesome. Naruto complimented. Kuretsuchi blushed. Thanks, you're not bad. I'm glad I don't have to kill someone as handsome as you. My conscience wouldn't be able to take it. Kuretsuchi said, moving a bang of hair behind her ear. Same, I wouldn't want to kill someone as pretty as you. Naruto said, return the compliment. They both landed on a tree after a few more minutes of jumping and stood in front of each other. Listen, sorry about how I acted. I let my anger take over. I rarely knew my mom, and when she died, I felt like I lost everything. And she paused when she felt Naruto embrace her in a hug. It's okay, I understand. If I lost someone I cared about, I would probably do the same. Kuretsuchi didn't say anything and just nodded in Naruto's chest. Naruto pulled back and gave her his foxy grin. But we're cool now, so everything is cool now. Maybe we could hang out after this. I know a good ramen stand that tastes like the food of the gods. Kuretsuchi gave him a smile in return. Sure, and once again, she approached the blonde and kissed the corner of his lip, making him blush. Thanks, you're pretty cool yourself. I have to get to my team. So see you at the tower. Kuretsuchi said before jumping away. Bye, Naruto said in the daze. Snap out of it. I'm happy you got another hottie, but you gotta get back to your team. Kuruma said. Naruto snapped out of it and leapt away. Sakura was under a tree, taking care of Sasuke. She just encountered the snake Sannin after being separated from Naruto. Sasuke was guided into fighting him by some taunts, and now he was unconscious from the snake Sannin biting him on the neck, giving him a mark. Naruto-kun, where are you? Soon she heard rustling in the trees. She acted like she didn't hear it. I guess it's time to put the training to the test, she thought, going through some hand signs. So this is where she was. What happened to Sasuke Uchiha? Dosu asked, watching Sakura taking care of the raven head. Who cares? Our mission is to eliminate him. If the girl wants to get in the way, it's her funeral. Zaku said. Still, we should proceed with caution, remembering what happened before the exam. She's pretty strong, Kin said. She noticed the genjutsu Sakura placed. Shut up. I don't need you to remind me. I'll make that bitch pay. She and her two friends gang up on me. I can take her alone. Zaku said, remembering the headlock he was in. Are you sure about that? The T-male Oto Nin snapped their heads towards Sakura, who appeared above them. Sakura threw a punch towards Zaku, who blocked it with his arms, but his bones cracked and he was sent flying through a couple trees. Dosu swiped at her with his gauntlet, causing a sound to erupt from the gauntlet. Dosu was surprised when Sakura kawarimi with a log, destroying it in the process. Sakura appeared behind him and roundhouse kicked him towards the ground. Sakura breathed a bit and turned to Kin with a confused look. Kin noticed the look Sakura gave. What, aren't you going to attack me? Sakura asked. No, I never wanted to do this. I was hoping your handsome teammate was here so I could ask him to watch out. Kin warned before Dosu appeared behind them and punched Sakura in the stomach, following up with a kick sending Sakura back towards the ground. Dosu then grabbed Kin by the throat. What are you doing, traitor? Helping her. They are our targets, Dosu said. Fu. CK. You. I never liked you or that so-called village, you always treated me like shit. Why should I give a damn about you? Kin retorted. Fine. Dosu threw Kin next to Sakura. We'll find a replacement. Zaku. Right. Prepare to die, bitches. Zaku said, jumping in the opening, arms extended. Zankaha. Zaku, a blast of sound waves towards the kunoichis. Surezu. EBU. Sakura was about to go through some hand seals when a red blur ran past her and sliced the attack, splitting it in multiple directions. Sakura and Kin covered their eyes for a moment to avoid the dust. When they opened it, there were two kunoichis in front of them. One had short red hair, with a mesh shirt and stockings, a purple skirt, a light brown short-sleeved jacket with an orange stripe going across the chest and black sandals. She had a Nadeshiko headband. The other had black hair in a ponytail with green eyes and with a gray kunoichi uniform and gray gloves with a skirt to match. Are you two all right? Yeah, thanks for the help, Sakura responded, snapping out of her daze. Shizuka, watch the two. I can handle this, the redhead said, stepping forward. Are you sure, Karen-san? Shizuka asked. Karen turned to her teammate and smiled. I am, and besides, with these two, I won't have to take off my glasses. Shizuka nodded and stepped back. Karen turned to the male Oto Nins, radiating a battle aura. Dosu started to sweat a bit. This girl, her chakra level is high like the blonde from earlier. The way she cut Zaku's attack like nothing, she's not to be underestimated. Why are you here? This has nothing to do with you. Dosu asked. Damn, why is it hard to kill the Uchiha? What's your connection? Zaku yelled in anger. With the Uchiha? Nothing. I don't want you to ruin the chances of Naruto advancing forward until I test him. Karen answered, confusing the Oto Nins. Not to be rude, but why should you care about Naruto-kun? Sakura asked. Karen turned to the Pinkett and smirked. Maybe I should have introduced myself with my full name. My name is Karen Uzumaki. Sakura's jaw dropped. You mean that you and Naruto are from the same clan? And imagine my surprise when I heard the guy with the glasses said he was an Uzumaki. From his chakra level, I knew he was right. Karen answered. Well, too bad you aren't going to meet him because you're dead. Zaku yelled, lifting his arm, preparing another sound attack, but to his surprise, his left arm fell to the ground, severe from his shoulder. Karen was behind him, sheathing her sword back into the hilt. Arg! Zaku screamed in agony, grasping his shoulder. Too slow, Karen commented. Dosu charged forward, swinging his gauntlet. Karen blocked it with the sheath of her sword. Dosu smirked under the mask but was shocked to see Karen fine. How are you? Not affected by the sound waves? Karen finished the question. She looked at the sheath. Dosu followed her gaze towards the sheath and it was glowing yellow. You see, I saw your attack before. So to avoid it, I channeled wind chakra into the sheath, disrupting the sound. And now, Karen's palm glowed yellow and she attacked Dosu's chest, sending him backwards. Dosu collected himself in the air and flipped, sliding on the ground. Dosu looked up and smirked. Take this, bitch. Zaku appeared behind her and pointed his hand towards Karen, prepared to blast her. Zaku muttered before his head landed on the ground. Everyone was confused, until Naruto landed behind Karen back to back. Naruto-kun. Sakura cheered. Naruto turned to her. He gave her a wink and noticed Sasuke was on the ground. He was glad he was alright. Dosu turned to Naruto and was sweating bullets. Kin, come help me. Dosu ordered desperately, causing the Odo female to scowl. Fuck you, you always abuse me but now you want my help. I'm not going back to you or our leader. Kin responded. You were abused? Both Uzumakis asked. Kin nodded then panicked when the chakra of both Uzumakis flared. Naruto memories of a child ran through his mind, as Karen and her mother lived in Kusa before they escaped. They both charged Dosu in the blink of an eye and did a cross slash, killing him. Dosu fell lifeless on the ground. They both looked at the Odo Nin with disgust and swiped the blood off their swords. I hate people who hurt their comrades. And I hate people who abuse others. Karen added. Karen turned to Naruto after sheathing their swords and jumped on him, embracing him in a hug. It's good to meet you at last. What? Naruto asked before being glomped between Karens. Not that I don't like it, but why are you doing this? Right. Karen pulled away. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Karen Uzumaki. And we're from the same clan. Naruto's eyes widened. I can't believe me and Ba-chan is not the only one. Wait, there's more. Yeah. You know Tsunade Senju grandmother is part Uzumaki. In fact, she should be done kicking Snake Tem right about now. Naruto said. What do you mean, Naruto-kun? Sakura asked. Well, after we were separated, I was attacked by this IWA nin who had it in for my father. She figured out that I was his son just by my looks. When we fought, the Snake Tem arrived and was going to kill her and frame me to provoke a war, but Ba-chan arrived after I sent a clone to get her. Sounds like an experience. For one, I hope she kills him. Kin said. Same. By the way, who are you? I never got your name. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto asked. I'm Kin Tsuchi and Kukuku. It's like old times Tsunade Heim. Orochimaru said, staring at her old teammate. Well, if you want it to feel like old times, I can call the pervert. Tsunade responded. Ah, Jiraiya, he was always a fool. Thinking he can surpass us and trying to always bring me back to this pathetic village. Orochimaru said. It's weird to see you call someone a fool, considering you left because you didn't become Hokage. Tsunade retorted. We both know I would have led this village to greatness. How? By turning everyone to your personnel guinea pigs. Making the village into your own laboratory. I think we've talked too much. Orochimaru said. He approached Tsunade at a slow pace. Tsunade narrowed her eyes. What could he be planning? Tsunade decided to meet Orochimaru halfway and charged him. Orochimaru had a sadistic smirk. Always the straightforward approach. Kinda predictable, Orochimaru said as Tsunade was on top of him. He bit his hand and threw some blood on Tsunade, causing her to freeze. Tsunade fell to her knees and started to quiver in fear. Orochimaru stopped right in front of Tsunade. You truly are pathetic, for a medic to be scared of a little blood. We are shinobi, we bathe in it. To think I almost considered you a threat. Tsunade stopped quivering and spoke. You're right, it is pathetic. Orochimaru was shocked at how calmly she spoke but was even more surprised when she got up and punched him in the face, sending him flying feet away through trees. Orochimaru lifted his head from the branch and stared at the slug Sanin in pain. But how? You really thought I wouldn't have gotten over my fear? I thought you were better than that. Tsunade taunted. Orochimaru climbed out the trunk and snapped his neck in place. I should have known breaking your neck wouldn't be enough. Yes, Orochimaru began, popping his neck back in place. And I should have known you would be rid of your fear of blood. I guess shinobi of our caliber make the simplest mistakes. Orochimaru finished before charging Tsunade at unimaginable speed. Tsunade got on the defense as the snake freak circled her like a prey. You know Tsunade, I can't let you live. After all, you'll get in the way of my plans. I would ask what your plans are, but since you're going to die, it doesn't really matter. Tsunade responded before blocking a punch from her former teammate. She then went for a kick, but Orochimaru back-flipped away. Tsunade ran after him before jumping in the air and diving at him with a kick. Orochimaru's bottom half became snake-like and avoided the kick. You really are a snake. I can't wait to skin you alive. We both know I was the strongest of the Sannin. Orochimaru said before turning his leg to normal. He charged Tsunade, engaging her in a taijutsu match. He was avoiding her attacks while Tsunade was blocking him since it felt like nothing to her. Orochimaru's right arm turned to a snake and wrapped around Tsunade before biting her. Tsunade poof away, surprising Orochimaru until he turned around and saw Tsunade in the air with two slugs on her shoulder. The both spat different color acid towards the snake Sannin, covering him. What is this? I can't move. One of them is sticky acid. It prevents you from moving a muscle and is as strong as me. And the other, Tsunade started going through hand signs that finished in a tiger seal. Is exploding acid. Kaden. Gokaku no Jutsu. Tsunade shot a fireball towards the snake Sannin, creating a huge explosion. She landed on a branch, narrowing her eyes at the fire she created. I know you're alive, come out. I'm not here for games. Kukuku, you are as smart as always, but I'm curious. When did you start learning ninjutsu? Orochimaru asked. You see, when I was training with sensei a few months ago, I realized I lacked range attacks and relied too much on my strength. So I mixed some things up with and learned some ninjutsu when I resumed training with the slugs. But that's not the only thing I learned. Tsunade leapt into the air and covered her foot in lightning, shocking, no pun intended. Orochimaru. Tsunade Raiden. Tsunade slammed her lightning foot on Orochimaru, causing a huge quake. Tsunade leapt back and clicked her teeth. The Tem is still alive, where are you? Tsunade asked after the Orochimaru she clicked turned to mud. Kukuku, you improved. While I would normally like to stay and play some more, we attracted some unwanted guests. So I'll take my leave. Goodbye Tsunade Heim, see you soon. Oh, and don't stop the Chunin exams or I'll burn the leaf to the ground. Orochimaru said before his voice disappeared. Tsunade was trying to sense him but soon gave up after she realized he was gone. Damn, freak. Anko, you can come out now. Anko flinched and came out of hiding. Hey Tsunade-sama, cut the sama shit. Why are you here? Tsunade asked, folding her arms. Well, I saw the corpse of Orochimaru and came to track him down. I see, so how were you going to beat him if you found him? You know you're no match for him. Tsunade asked. I had a jutsu that would have taken him out but. Anko stated. Let me guess. It'll cost you your life. Tsunade asked. Anko nodded slowly while looking at the ground. Tsunade pinches her temples. You know if you would have done that, I would have lost my head matriarch. I know, I was just so angry at what he did to me. Anko responded. I understand, but you have to realize that there are people who care about you. How do you think Naruto would have felt if he found out you died? Anko's eyes widened. She didn't think of that. Tsunade noticed and shook her head. I'm going to tell him, but your punishment begins now. For 1 whole month. No more Anko, Naruto playtime. Anko grabbed Tsunade's legs and begged. No, anything but that. Don't take Anko's playtime with Naru-kun. Nope, you can still hug him and kiss him. But that's it. Anko started to cry as they headed out the forest. Team 7 along with Karen team was jumping through the trees towards the tower. It turned out that the Oto Nin had the scroll they needed, and since Naruto still had theirs, they head towards the tower. Kin was with them. So Kin, said the girl, turned to Naruto. How was your life in Oto? Shit, Kin said with disgust. They don't value weaklings or kunoichis. I only joined because the snake asshole promised us we could live in a sanctuary. I just wanted to be a kunoichi with friends, but we were only slaves. When I learned we would be coming here, I planned on leaving. But when I saw how strong you were, I knew at that moment I should ask you for help. Me? Naruto asked. Yes, you defended that little boy from Kabuto and how you passed the second exam. You are a badass, Kin said. I'll say, Naruto-kun actually defended me from Sasuke. Sakura said as she began to tell Kin and Karen about their mission at the bandit camp. Naruto-san. Naruto turned to Shizuka, who was looking nervous. I have something to discuss with you. I'm not sure how you will accept this, but I hope you understand. What? Naruto asked. I'll discuss this with you at the tower. But I hope not to be a burden. Shizuka finished as they headed to the tower. The group made it to the tower. Sasuke was still being carried by Naruto's clone. Once they made it in, they were in an empty room and on the wall was a riddle. If heaven does not exist, enrich your knowledge and prepare for the chance. If earth does not exist, run the field and search for the advantage. Open the series of heaven and earth and the perilous way shall be redressed. This is namely the secret of, the one that guides, Sakura read out loud. What do you suppose this means? Shizuka asked. Well, heaven and earth refers to the scrolls. It also says open the series, so I'm guessing it's okay to open them in this tower and it will guide us to something. Naruto answered. Karen and Naruto opened up their scrolls for their respective team. Iruka appeared from Team 7 and was a redheaded woman. Iruka-sensei, we were attacked by Orochimaru and he did something to Sasuke. Sakura said before Iruka could get a word in. He took Sasuke and carried him to a bedroom in the tower. He stopped and turned to his former students and smiled. I can come along with you. There's something I have to tell the Hokage. Kin added in. Iruka nodded and turned back to his students. I'm proud of you too, you've grown. Sakura, you used to be so fragile but now I can see how strong you have grown. Naruto, you grew as well, I can tell just by looking at you. You're definitely stronger. You still have 3 more days until the next phase, so rest up and good luck. Iruka said before disappearing. Excuse me. Naruto turned to Karen-sensei who seemed to be acting nervous. Are you really an Uzumaki? I was informed by my daughter. Naruto's eyes widened. Yes, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. Nice to meet another. I'm Hinoka Uzumaki. Would you be so kind as to tell me your mother's name? Hinoka said. Kushina Uzumaki. Naruto answered. The son of the princess of Uzu and the Red Death. I'm honored. I'm just glad to meet more kin. Naruto responded. Well, we can talk later. Karen and Shizuku, let's leave these two. Hinoka said. Wait, Shizuka, didn't you need to speak to me? Naruto said. Shizuka blushed, remembering what she wanted to talk about. We'll have time later, okay. Shizuka said before walking away with her team. I guess we could go check out our rooms. We have a couple days to relax, Sakura-chan. Naruto said. Sure, I need a shower from that damn forest. Hey, how about you help me bathe? Extra team exercise. Sakura teased. Nah, maybe next time. I'm going to check out the tower and see who else is here. Naruto replied with a blush. I was joking, Naruto-kun. We didn't even have a proper date yet. Sakura said, giggling. You're right, I'll set something up this weekend. Sakura squealed and lunged at Naruto, kissing him on the cheek. You're the best. I'll catch you later, Sakura said, leaving a blushing Naruto in place. Naruto shook it off and chuckled. Naruto started to walk around the tower to see if there were any other competitors. He was pretty sure the Sand team was here, but that was because he knew how strong they were. Hey, there you are. Naruto turned around and saw a blonde Kumo nin smirking at him. I was really excited to meet you. Naruto cocked an eyebrow in confusion. Really? Well, I'm Naruto. Yugito. Pleasure to meet you, Naruto-kun. Yugito responded. Kit, I wasn't able to feel it before, but she's a Jinchuriki. Kitten, that hunk of a man is a Jinchuriki just like you. The Biju told their partners. You're a Jinchuriki. Both blondes said at the same time, amazed. Wow, you're the second one I met. Naruto said. Really? Who's the other one? Yugito asked. Yeah, I want to know as well. Both blondes turned to see a mint hair girl flying. Nice to meet you, Naruto-kun, Yugito-san. My name is Fu and I'm a Jinchuriki as well. I never got to meet others like me. I know, we should all be friends. Yugito and Naruto were surprised yet again. 4 Jinchurikis. Wow, I'm not sure how to feel about this. Naruto thought and remembered what Fu just suggested. Sure, Fu-chan, I wouldn't mind being friends. What about you, Yugi-chan? Yugito blushed and smirked. She places her hand on Naruto's cheek, causing him to blush. Sure, Naru-kun, if it means I get to know you better. Great, we're all friends now. We should go find the other one you mentioned, Naruto-kun. What's his name again? Gaara. Everyone turns to see the Sand Nin approaching them, yawning. I never thought sleep felt so good. Yo, Gaara, did you hear everything we were talking about? Naruto asked. I did, and it feels weird to find others like me, but I don't sense any hatred coming from any of you. Gaara said. All the others nodded. Then Naruto's stomach growled. I guess I'm hungry. How about I show you the best place to eat? Yugito smirked and wrapped her arm around Naruto's. Sure, I'll even allow you to escort me there. Yugito said with a teasing smile. After all, I am a lady. Hearing this, Fu took his other arm and smirked. Right, gentlemen are supposed to escort a lady. Naruto chuckled and began to leave. Are you Naruto? The group turned to an Iwa nin wearing armor with his right hand tucked into his shirt. The man narrowed his eyes at the group before it softened. I'm Hans. I wanted to thank you for saving my teammate, Kuroitsuchi, but I never expected you to be a Jinchuriki and with others. Naruto was about to ask how he knew until he felt the chakra of the man. Naruto started to laugh. Wow, another one. Well, you're welcome. I would have done it for anyone. Han nodded. Anyway, I heard you were about to eat and I'm quite famished myself. Sure, you can come. Naruto cut him off. Hans nodded and the group left towards what Naruto would call the food meant for the gods. Ah, this is relaxing. Who knew the tower had a hot spring? Sakura said, relaxing in the water. I'll say, it's quite nice. Sakura opened her eyes and saw Tamari with a towel over her body. Mind if I join you? Sure. Tamari-san. Was it? That's right, and you're Sakura. The one with the cute blonde for a teammate. Tamari said with a sexy smirk, thinking about the blonde. Yeah, Naruto is amazing. Sakura replied. I'm also interested in learning about him, would that be cool? Samui said, walking in with Kuritsuchi. Tamari and Sakura eyed the girl's chest before having similar thoughts. Big. Tamari was proud of her body, but Sakura's soul left her body. He's strong, I'll tell you that. I fought him in the forest and gotta say I was impressed. Kuritsuchi sat down in the water. Hey Pinky, is he single? Samui and Tamari looked towards Sakura, waiting for an answer. Depends on how you look at it. Sakura said, confusing the other three. Naruto is in the CRA for being part of 2 clans, but the proctor from the second exam determines who gets a chance. Naruto-kun decision. I see, I guess I'll talk to her later. Hopefully she'll be cool with it. Samui said, sitting right next to Sakura. Now tell me about him. Samui insisted. Well, for one, he values everyone he cares about. He even saved my life one time when we went on a mission. Sakura began to explain. Welcome to Ichiraku's ramen, where the food meant for the gods is created. Naruto said. The Jinchurikis smelled the aroma and started to drool. They each took a seat waiting for Chuki. Hey old man, you got some hungry customers. Naruto. Wow, you brought me new customers. Now what can I get you? Hey, Miss 2, mind if I join you? Everyone turns to CB smiling. This food smells so fine, must be mine. Fine, but stop the rapping. Yugito responded. B nodded and sat between Naruto and Fu. Now, what can I get you? 1 bowl of miso ramen. 2 bowls of shrimp ramen. 5 bowls of vegetable ramen. 7 bowls of chicken ramen. 8 bowls of pork ramen. 9 bowls of the Naruto special. All the Jinchuriki answered. Chuki was doing an impression of a fish before his eyes had dollar signs in them. Wow, Naruto-kun really took a slash for you, even though, excuse my language, a bitch to him. Kuritsuchi said. Sakura looked down in shame. It wasn't my proudest moment. Sasuke is talented, but he has a black hole for a heart. I'll say. He's cute, but Naruto has the confidence in him that you would want in a man. Tamari said. And to use his strength for others is honorable and cool. You said his sword was a blur when he killed those sound nin. I need to know more, but I also want to fight him for myself. Samui said, rubbing her shoulders. Same here. Hi everyone, mind if we join you? Karen and Shizuka walked in. Karen sat next to Samui and Shizuka sat on the other side. Naruto-kun was impressive when we fought those sound nin. I can also tell he was holding back. He's definitely one of the few we should be wary about in this exam. Shizuka said. Karen, if you were to rank us against him, how would our chances be since you're a censor and you saw him fight? Karen closed her eyes. Well, you and Samui-san might have 40-45% chance, but I haven't seen Samui fight. I'm just going by knowledge by Cloud Nin fighting style. Tamari-san uses a fan, and from what I've seen Naruto do, I'll say Tamari-san has 20% unless she has something hidden. Kuritsuchi-san. Don't say it. Everyone turned to the Iwa Nin. I fought him. He's a clever one. The whole time he was fighting me, he defended himself, but I could tell he had potential to kill me. When he got mad at the snake that showed up, I felt his ki rising and his chakra was amazing. I'll say my chance is the same as Samui. Karen nodded before continuing. I'll say my chance is 50%. And before you say anything, I'm not being arrogant. We're from the same clan. Our chakra level matches and style might not be so different. I know myself well. I'm not saying no one is weak, but I'm not certain who would win. Everyone stands a chance, it just depends on how the cards are played. 3 days later, all the genin that managed to get both scrolls was lined up with the Jonin sensei, the examiners and the Hokage. Naruto and Karen were eyeing Sasuke, his chakra felt darker than normal. Most of the females were eyeing Naruto with lust, while some of the men wanted to fight him. Few believed he was a dead last while others wanted a challenge. What was weird was that there was a few extra people here like Tsunade and Shizune. Welcome and congratulations on passing the second stage. Now turn your attention to the Hokage. Anko said, stepping back. Allow me to explain the exam's true purpose. This exam is to show the village's true potential to the world. If the village shows strength, we receive more missions. We also use these exams to create new relationships with potential allies and form alliances, as well as showing our strength to our enemies, keeping them from attacking. Sandame-sama, I'll explain the next part of the exam, Hayate said, stepping forward. The next stage will be 1 versus 1. Originally, we were going to give you a month, but we didn't suspect many of you to pass, so we will eliminate some of you with a preliminary round. Daimyo and other important people will arrive, so only the strong will be allowed to move on. Hayate said before coughing a bit. Now before we start, could those who feel well or anyone not up to it, feel free to drop out. We will begin the match immediately after. I give up, Kabuto said, raising his hand. Naruto, Karen and Yugito narrowed their eyes at him suspiciously. They figured he was up to something since his chakra level was still high and he didn't have a scratch on him. Alongside Kabuto, Fu's 2 teammates gave up as well and left. Alright, now pay attention to the board. Everyone who doesn't see their name, please move to the balcony. Hayate instructed. Everyone waited to see who would be the first to fight. When the names appeared, Naruto smirked and turned to his fellow Uzumaki, who was smiling. Well, good luck Karen-chan, show everyone what an Uzumaki is made of. Naruto said. You can count on it. Karen said before turning to her opponent, as everyone else proceeded to the balcony leaving her and a Jinchuriki. On the board, Karen Uzumaki vs. Hans of Iwa.